thinking about the global environment that businesses are operating in, as I think also in the public sector, one of the biggest challenges we are all experiencing is that in the last couple of decades there's been an explosion of information that all workers, actually all people, have to deal with on a daily basis. And if you look at the explosion of information and the development of the individual, we refer to this challenge that exists as an information application gap. So we have all this information, but if you don't know how to apply it accurately or to use it in a beneficial way, there's actually a gap that has to be bridged. And I think that is the biggest challenge we are all facing currently. So the individual in the workplace environment have to deal with a lot more, let's say, more complex information sets. They have to be able to interpret this much faster. They have to be able to act on that information in a more advanced way. So they have to be able to analyze it. They have to be able to decide how to use this information much better than they previously had. So they need the skills to interact with this information so that at the end of the day, we can have a higher impact or maximum impact for the business in the field where they are working. So looking at the information that we have to work with, most of it is visual information. And if we can bridge this gap through cognitive development, through visual intelligence training, helping people to, with Industry 4.0, being able to unlearn and relearn old ways of doing, finding better ways of doing what we used to do. Through that cognitive development, we will advance the bottom lines of companies. We will improve relationships within the company. There's so much benefit, not only for the company in the sense of advancing the people that are working there, but also, a lot of companies are currently doing training for employees to assist them, but most of that training is usually done on a technical level or a practical level within the workplace. There are not a lot of development taking place to advance the individual, to give them the skills, to teach them the strategies to better work with the information. So the bottom lines or the output that takes place from training that has been done will be much more at a higher level when workers or individuals know how to better apply that information. So the application or the execution of what has been learned will advance even more when that cognitive training has taken place. I think a third aspect that is very important is that our clients daily have more access to information than they've ever had before. So this means that the clientele's understanding of what is happening is also at a higher level. So in an effort to stay in front of the client basis we have to advance we have to bridge that gap, that information application gap, much faster. So if we think of a business in today's environment, if we can develop our employees so that, for instance, the employees that are working with customer service feel that they are empowered, they have enough knowledge, they know how to answer questions in the right way with better information than they've had before. So they feel empowered within the work that they need to do. The whole environment in the business will be impacted by that. Whereas when you look at a business where people feel they are not able to handle the questions that come their way, they don't know how to give clients with questions the right information. So their resource pool of information is just so much smaller because they don't have the skills to access the information and to use it. So when a business is able to, or the employees in a business has been empowered to access more information, and it's not just one or two of the people in the workplace, but we're starting to talk about collective intelligence. I think when we get to that place, we can really advance our business to the next level and achieve maximum impact where we are. So the great thing with eyebraingym is that it can be used to advance employees in the work environment. Neuroscience have taught us that we can rewire our brain between 8 to 12 weeks. So eyebraingym gives access to employees to their personal profile on the system, 20 minutes twice weekly for 8 to 12 weeks, and the impact is already felt within the workplace. Giving us the return on investment that we need, we've created measurable factors. So if we look at the way that we interact with information, there are 3 important aspects that we need to keep in mind. The first one is action. So we need to be able to action the information or our skills to interact with this information so that we can start to interpret what we are seeing and work with this. The more information I have available and the better I can interpret it, I'll be able to understand the issues. I'll be able to understand the task. I'll be able to understand what is needed from the place where we are now to where we want to go with this business. So action, interpret and understand is one of the measurable factors within the system. So if we look at the bottom lines of the impact that the system will have on employees, we are busy with cognitive development, we are busy with visual intelligence training. So I think one of the first aspects that we would be able to see is the diagnostic information gathering of employees will improve. So they'll be able to better find information so that we can execute practical tasks, we can work in a better way with technical tasks that need to be handled within the workplace. Because of that, we'll be able to analyze information better. And if I can analyze the information better, I will very soon find problems that I maybe never saw before and start to think in a way to solve these problems. And that helps in the development of strategic thinking as well. So I'm starting to look at my workplace and the job that I'm doing in a different way. And because of that, because I can think more strategic, I can problem solve better, my communication in my work environment is going to improve. And once that communication has improved, the relationships of workers will definitely be impacted by that. And once we have impacted the relationships and all of these processes have been advanced or enhanced within the worker, we can find that other investments that we've made in the company, for instance, training that we've done or new technical support that we're bringing in, can be used in a much better way. So the return on investment is multifaceted within the workplace, and all of these things working together, bringing us to a place of collective intelligence, of course, advance the business beyond where we've ever been. I think people are our future. You know, the human resources within our companies are the most valuable assets that we have. In times when it's difficult, you know, so many businesses are going through a very difficult time because of the lockdowns that we've seen globally. If we can empower our people, if we can change that environment within the workplace, it will have benefits that we would reap for years to come. So if we can invest in the right areas, the dividends, the return on investment in the future will just be so much greater. So join us in creating an intelligence revolution, working with us to improve reading, comprehension, cognitive skills, visual intelligence, and up the game in your business.